final touches. Okay. This is my internship here in Cuernavaca, Mexico. I'm working with Sede Cuatro, which is an organization that does education and prevention against AIDS in the state of Morelos and Cuernavaca. Right, as of now, statistics show that Morelos has the fourth highest rate of HIV/AIDS in the country of Mexico. So we're trying to use some creative ways, social work intervention to combat this. I don't know if you can get over here or not, but we try to use. Mexico is a country with a lot of sexual shame. It's very taboo. The power of the Catholic Church and the government, conservative government, to talk about sexuality, safe sex, especially in the context of queer sexuality, is very difficult and has many challenges. So we try to use provocative and very creative brochures and information and techniques to get to this population. Gay men are in fact the number one population. In fact, move my stand. Who suffer from HIV/AIDS. So part of my internship is going to the queer bars in Cuernavaca, which there's surprisingly a lot of, and handing out condoms, talking to people about safe sex, what can be earned from getting an HIV/AIDS test, safe sex with your partner, with randoms, with whatever. We have information for men who have sex with men. It's all in Spanish, of course. Women who have sex with women. Information solely for women, which is really an important part of our work, I think, because of migration and globalization. Men are typically going to the United States to work, having sex with men or having sex with women in the United States when they're away from their partners in Mexico. And then they come back to Mexico, and their wives, because of machismo and whatnot, women can't tell their husbands to use condoms, and this is one of a big problem that Mexico faces, Mexican women in particular. So we have information on empowering women of how they can, in fact, tell their husbands to use a condom within, or talk about sexuality, what happened in the United States, or whatever it may be. We hand out information on the uses of condoms, basic information of SIDA, and of course, always, lots and lots of free condoms. So, which we get through grants of the government and the national, and SIDA, which is the National AIDS Organization. And if you need more, we have bags and bags.
Okay. How long did it take you to put together this?
Well, I've been doing this we have about 4 weeks where we do internships 3 times a day for about 5 hours, and I've been going to different events, there's a conference upstairs right now from an organization called DDCER, which is an organization for domestic violence. So they're kind of doing a little workshop on domestic violence prevention. So I do things like that. I go to different presentations, organizations. I went to a health fair at a high school, social work high school, in fact. And
so, what kind of reactions do you get? Yeah, well, let's start out in the field when you're handing out condoms, or what kind of reactions?
In the gay bars.
Yeah.
I think I've come to this organization at a good time because it's really well known in the gay community of Cuernavaca. It's a really good reputation. I don't really need to explain to people what I'm doing because the people at the gay bars recognize Sede Cuatro's work and are really receptive. Most of the bars are incredibly generous and really welcoming when I do arrive. Sometimes I get a little bit mixed reactions. It's funny, the upper class bars are a little more hesitant to let me in and do my thing, but the working class bars are really into this kind of activism and this kind of this kind of social work. So it varies a little bit, but for the most part, Sede Quattro is really well recognized and appreciated for their work in the community.
Now you said school, so you go to school?
I've been to one school, and I was actually really looking forward to being being able to represent an organization that's willing to talk about men who have sex with men, women who have sex with women, because I didn't expect, my expectations were that no one would really be talking about that, and I would be kind of a unique voice at that school. But it turned out I went to a really alternative, radical high school of social work, and all the students were in fact giving presentations that they had put together. It was kind of like a poster presentation. So all these students had rubber penises that they were showing me with condoms on, and it was really great to see a bunch of 16-year-olds talking about things that are oftentimes overlooked in our education system in the U.S.
So this is your internship.
This is my internship.
Yes, but I was going to finish the question. But do you feel that it's not a full-time job? Do you feel like you've made a small impact, doing it?
I do. I think I've had a lot of good conversations with students and people at health fairs about safe sex, and also I've done a few where I've organized other volunteers to help me prepare the materials for the route, which when I go to all the different bars and clubs in Cuernavaca, and conversations with people that have had other volunteers, and the workers, about nuanced ways of doing social work, with incorporating creativity and working within a system of a lot of sexual shame, just like finding new ways of doing that and using a lot of creativity. For example, I don't know if you all know what tamales are. It's this kind of like, they wrap this corn mash in a husk of corn, and they boil it and steam it in water, and it's this meal that's really common here. It's kind of a staple. So Sede Quattro has a lot of trouble being in public places like the Zocalo or the center of town with handing out condoms and whatnot and talking about safe sex. So one way of getting around this barrier is taking condoms and wrapping them in the husks of tamales and then handing them out. And people find it humorous because it's something they're all very familiar with and recognize. But it's also a really good way to get to people about with condoms and kind of make fun of this sexual shame. Like, we can't talk about condoms, so we wrap it up in tamales and it's okay.
Okay. So you feel you've made an impact. Well, what do you think you've gotten from the experience? Yes.
I think it all goes back to creativity and also working within a very different context in social work in the United States, and seeing how this is a very huge community focus, and I'm not working one-on-one with clients. When I am, it's very rare. It's more community and getting involved in this queer community of Cuernavaca, and having friends and knowing the other coworkers and seeing them out in the discos and the bars, and being a member of a community, feeling like somehow integrating as much as I can, being here for a short time. I feel like I've made connections and I've made networks, and that's something that I feel that I can take back to the U.S. and really apply to my social work education and my field work.